Welcome back, dear students of class 7. Today we are going to start with the part 3 of chapter Computer Hardware Components. Okay, students, in this part, students, we are going to study about few more internal hardwares like modem, heat sink, and the different ports that are available on our computer. Okay, students, so let's begin with this part. First, let's talk about modem. Okay, students, what is the full form of modem? The full form of modem is modulator demodulator. Okay, the full form of modem is MO stands for modulator and DEM stands for demodulator. Okay, students. Now, what is modem? Modem is a device. Modem is a device which allows a computer to send or receive information through telephone lines by converting digital data into analog signals. Okay, students. So what does the modulator do? Demodulator do? It is a device which allows the computer to send or receive information through what? Through the telephone lines. Okay, by converting digital data into analog signals. Let me explain you how a modem works. Okay, students. In modem, students, a modulator. Okay, there are two parts, modulator and demodulator. Okay, what does the modulator do? The modulator converts digital information of a computer to analog mode. Okay, at the transmitting end. Transmitting means the end from where the data is sent. Okay, for example, when you send a message to your friend, so you are at the transmitting end and your friend who's going to receive the message, he or she is at the receiving end. Okay, so what does the modulator do? It converts the digital information of the computer to analog mode. I will explain you what is this digital and analog. Okay, at the transmitting end or the end where the data is being sent. And what does the demodulator do? The demodulator further converts back the analog signals that were sent from here to the digital at the receiving end. Now let me explain you what is this modulation demodulation. Okay. Now students, suppose this is your friend's computer. Okay, or your computer. Suppose this is your computer and this is your friend's computer. Okay, now see students, you must have heard of the broadband connection. You must have heard of broadband connections, right? Now what happens in a broadband connection is that you get internet with the help of these telephone poles. Okay, the when you have a broadband, what happens is that the a wire comes from the telephone poles. You must have seen these type of telephone poles, okay, in your locality. Okay, so what happens, this wire that is coming from the telephone poles, it is not directly connected to your computer as it is shown over here. It is connected to a telephone. Okay, this wire goes into a telephone. So I'll draw a telephone. Pardon my drawing. So suppose this is your telephone. This is your telephone. Okay, and then from this telephone a wire goes into the modem. Okay, and then this is connected to your computer. Okay, in the same manner over here also a wire goes from here to the telephone, and then this telephone is connected to the modem, and then this from the modem the wire goes into your computer or at the back end of the computer. Now see students, what happens, suppose this is your computer and this is your friend's computer. Suppose you send a message Now students, you have studied in the previous class that this computer only understands digital or binary language. The computer only understands zeros and ones. The digital signals are the signals which are like this, which contains zeros and ones. See this 0 and this is 1, 0, 1. Okay, so these digital signals are the signals which are in binary form, and your computer only understands the digital signals. But the phone, this telephone, it understands only the analog signal. These telephone wires, they can only carry which signal? Analog signal. Okay, which is not digital. Okay students, so the telephone wires cannot understand the digital signals. The telephone wires can only understand analog signals. Okay students, so what happens is that when you send something from your computer, suppose you send a message from your computer to your friend's computer, so this message follows a path. Okay, so this message comes from your computer in digital form. Okay, now if it will go directly to this telephone wire, it will not be able to carry this digital signals that you have sent, so your nothing will be received over here. So what happens is that modem comes into play. In the both end, one modem is connected. Okay, one modem is there at your computer and another one is at your friends. Okay, so what happens when you send a digital signal? First it goes to the modem. What does this modem do is it converts this digital signal into analog signals. Okay, now this telephone line can understand this analog signal and it will transmit the analog signal to this telephone. Okay, through these wires, and now this analog signal will come over here to this modem. Okay, it will come to this modem, and then this modem will do what? It will do demodulation. It will convert the analog signal that is received from here to digital signal which this computer can understand. Okay, so this is the procedure of sending and receiving a message. Now the reverse process will happen when your friend will send a message to you. So this conversion of digital signals to analog is called as modulation, and then again conversion of analog signals into digital is called as demodulation. And the device which does this modulation and demodulation is called as modem. I hope students you have understood this. Again let me explain you. Okay, suppose this is a computer. Okay, it's a server computer. It's a server computer. See, one modem is over here and another modem is over here. Okay students, so this is a server computer. Okay, and this is a person. When when you are browsing the internet, suppose you are browsing the internet, so what happens is that you send a signal. Okay, that signal is in digital form and it goes to this modem. This modem converts this signal, digital signal, into analog signal. This analog signal is carried from this telephone lines, okay, to this modem. This modem converts this digital signal into analog signal. This analog signal is carried from this telephone lines, and this analog signal comes over here. Again this modem, what does it do? It converts this analog signal back to digital signal, and then this digital signal is understood by this server computer. Now this server computer will understand your request and it will send again a digital signal to this modem. Now this modem will convert that digital signal which this computer has sent into analog form, and then it will travel. Then it will come in analog form to this modem. This modem will again convert this analog signal into digital form, and then your computer can understand this. So this is process of modulation and demodulation. Who does this? The modem does this. Okay, and there are different types of modems that do this procedure. Okay students, so this is a work of a modem. Now there are three types of modem. Okay, the internal modem, as the name suggests, internal. Okay, as we studied internal hardware, in the same manner internal modem is a device that is already installed in the computer. Okay, it is in form of a card that is inserted into one of the slots on the main board or the motherboard. Okay, for example, look at this. This is how a internal modem looks like. This is the part that is inserted into the expansion slot of the motherboard. Okay, so this is a modem and these are where the different cables go in. Okay, so this is an internal modem. Okay, so what is internal modem, students? Internal modem is a device that is already installed in the computer and it is in form of a card that is inserted into one of the expansion slots on the main board or the motherboard. So internal modem is fitted inside the motherboard. Okay, and motherboard is inside the CPU cabinet, so that's why it is called as the internal modem. Easy. Next, the next type of modem is called as the external modem. As the name suggests, external modem, it is a modem that is installed outside the CPU box. Sorry, it is CPU box or the CPU cabinet. Okay, it is installed outside the CPU cabinet. Okay, it is in form of a box that is normally connected to USB port of your computer. So it is in a form of a box. See, this is how that box looks like. This, okay, this is the external modem. Sometimes your external modem also has antennas. Okay, now, so the external modem is in form of a box that is normally connected to the USB port of your computer. USB port, students, we are going to learn today about the USB ports. USB ports basically are those ports in which you connect your pen drive. Okay, so normally the external modems are connected to the USB port of your computer. Okay, this type of modem has indicator lights that display what do they display? They display the whether your modem is working or not. Okay, now the speed of a modem is measured in kilobits per second or megabytes per second. Okay, if the telephone line quality is not good, it will not be able to work with its maximum speed. So external modem will not work properly if your telephone line is not working properly, students. Okay, so this is about the external modem. Okay, the next type of modem is called as the PC card modem. Okay, the PC card modem is specifically designed for laptops and handheld computers. You have in the previous class 6 students, you have studied different types of computers. Okay, so your PC card modem, they were designed for basically for laptops and handheld computers. Okay, they are small in size. Yes, they can be easily taken from transported from one place to another. Okay, the PC card modem is similar to the size of a credit card or a debit card. You might have seen credit card and debit card. The size of a PC card modem is same as that of a credit card and debit card, and it fits into the PC card slot, PCI card slot. Okay, not PC card slot, the PCI card slot. Okay, on the notebook, okay, and handheld computers. Okay, so no cable is required other than the telephone line connection. Okay, now we can remove this modem when it is not needed. When we don't need the PC card modem, then we can remove it. Okay, except for its size, which is smaller, PC card modem is just like the combination of external and internal modem, and this card is powered by the computer itself. Okay, now this is how a PC card modem looks like. See, it is small in size, it is very small in size, and this is the connector of the PC card modem which goes into the PC card slot. Okay, now, so we have studied about the modem and three types of modem. Let's go through it quickly. Okay, what is modem, students? Modem stands for modulator demodulator. Okay, it is a device that allows the computer to send or receive information through telephone lines by converting digital data into analog signal and then again analog signal to digital signal and vice versa. Okay, so modulator, what is the work of the modulator? It has two parts now, modulator demodulator. Modulator converts the digital information of the computer to analog mode, okay, at the transmitting end or the end from where we are sending the message. Okay, and demodulator converts back the analog signals to digital at the receiving end. Then I explained you these two diagrams. Okay, there are three types of modem: internal modem, external modem, and PC card modem. Okay, students, the next type of hardware that we are going to study is your heat sink. Heat sink. Now, what is heat sink? Okay, heat sink, that means in your homes, in your kitchen, there is sink, na, water sink. What happens in the water sink? When you pour water, when the water gets spilled, or pour water in the water sink, the water is sucked into it, yes or no? All the water gets into it and flows away, yes. So that type of device is called as a sink. What is a heat sink? Heat sink is designed to, you know, take out the heat from your computer. Okay, because when your computer is working, it is generating lots of heat, and if that heat is not thrown out, then it will melt the components of your computer. That's why we require a heat sink. So what is heat sink? Heat sink is an electronic device. Okay, see, this is the heat sink. Okay, which is designed to disperse means throw away the heat, na, yes or no? When the school gets over, you people get dispersed from the class, na, you people disperse from the class, right? In the same manner, to disperse the heat generated by the CPU, the heat generated by whom? By the CPU. Okay, what is used? A heat sink. Okay, it is made up of a metal such as copper or aluminium. Now, metals are good conductors of heat. You have studied this in science, right? Metals are good conductors of heat. Okay, so what does these metals do? They conduct the heat away from the CPU. Okay, whatever heat CPU generates, that heat they conduct away from it. Okay, so it is made up of copper or aluminium alloy. Okay, and they normally use a fan to keep the processor or the CPU cool. Look at this black colored fan, and this is the aluminium heat sink. This, can you see this? This is the aluminium heat sink. Okay, now heat sink is commonly used in all the CPUs. Okay, heat sink is normally used in all the CPUs. It is also used in refrigeration and air conditioning system. So your AC, your refrigerator, they also use different kinds of heat sinks. Okay, now GPUs. Okay, GPUs or graphic processing systems and video card processors also use heat sinks. You have studied, na, that there this video cards or graphics card also have their own processor or CPU. You have studied in the previous lecture. See, over here you studied it. I'll show you. See, here you studied that some of the video card contains its own processing. See, so this is the heat sink. This particular video card has its own CPU and it has three fans. See, it has a big heat sink. Why it has heat sink? So that it can conduct the heat away from the video card, okay, from the CPU which is inside the video card. Okay, students, so this is the importance of heat sink. Okay. Now, look over here, students. You can see in this diagram that this is the heat sink, this part is the heat sink, and this person is, and this is the CPU, and below this CPU is the CPU socket. So this is the CPU socket. On this CPU socket, CPU is mounted, and on this over this CPU they are attaching a heat sink. So whatever heat this CPU will produce, it will get thrown out of the CPU. Okay, and the CPU will remain cool. Okay, students, so this is your heat sink. Now let's talk about different ports. Now what are ports? Okay, a computer port, students, is a slot on the motherboard that acts as a point of connection between the computer and the external device. So students, suppose you want to connect an external pen drive to your computer. Where do you connect it? You connect it on a USB port. So to connect any external device to your computer, you have to connect it to a particular port. You want to connect your mouse to your computer, you will require a port on your computer. Okay? So there are different types of ports. Okay, there are different types of ports available on your computer, and we are going to talk about them. Okay, cables of external devices like the keyboard, mouse, printer, monitor, etc. are plugged into these ports to attach them to the computer. So if you want to attach these devices to your computer, okay, you will plug their cable into the ports assigned for them. So let's see what are ports. Now you can see this diagram. You can see this diagram over here. Yes, you can see this diagram over here. Okay, see, these are different audio ports over here. Okay, then these are different ports over here. Then see different ports over here: PS2, USB, parallel port, VGA, USB port, audio jacks, etc. Okay, so these are different ports that are present on your computer. Okay, there are several types of ports which are used to connect various external devices to the computer. Most of the ports are visible at the back side of the CPU cabinet. So this is the back side of the CPU cabinet, and you can see so many ports are over here. We are going to talk about all these ports in this particular lecture. Okay, and while some of the ports are also visible on the front side of your this CPU cabinet. Okay, so some ports are at the back and some ports are at the front. It depends on the type of cabinet that you are purchasing or using. Okay, the placement of these ports may vary from computer to computer. It depends on the type of cabinet that you purchase for your computer. Okay, some of these ports are color coded. That means they have different colors. You can see this is a pink color, this is blue color, green color, and so on. Okay, color coded, that identify a specific device to be plugged into them. So according to the device that should be attached to it, they are color coded. Okay, so let's talk about the different ports that are present inside our computer. The first type of port is called as the serial port. What is it called? Serial port. See this port. If you see this type of port on your computer, you should call this as the serial port. Okay, now the serial port transmit 1 bit of data at a time over the single wire. Okay, so what is the what is the work of a serial port? The serial port transmits 1 bit of data at a time. Okay, and what is the usage of your serial port? It is used for devices that do not require high speed transmission like mouse, keyboard. Okay, it is also used to connect modems, and hence it is also called as the communication port. Okay, so serial port, what is the work of serial port? It transmits data 1 bit at a time over a single wire. So if a question is asked to you, which port transmit 1 bit data at a time over a single wire, then the answer will be serial port. And this is how your serial port looks like. I hope it is very clear to you. The next type of port is called as the parallel port. So this, see this port over here, this port over here is called as the parallel port. Okay, and what is the uh, use of parallel port, or what is the work of parallel port? It transfers several bits of data together at one time. So serial port transfers only one bit of data at a time over single wire, but the parallel port transfers several bits of data. Okay, so what is the use of parallel port? It is used for devices that require high speed data transmission, such as printers. So if you want to connect your printer can be connected to a parallel port. It is also used to connect scanners, printers, CD writer and external hard disks. Okay, so this is the parallel port. Next, the next type of port, student, is the USB port. Now this is the most common port that is used nowadays. You all must have seen USB ports. Okay, students. So USB port, student, is used to transfer data and can also act as power supply for the devices connected to it. Okay. So what is the full form of USB? The full form of USB is Universal Serial Bus. So please note down this. The full form of USB is Universal Serial Bus Port. Okay. So why universal? Because anywhere you go on any computer you can find the USB port. Okay, that's why it is universal. Okay, so what is the usage of this port? Devices that can be connected to USB port include keyboard, mouse, printer, scanners, flash drives or your pen drives, phones. Even your phones nowadays can be connected to the USB port. Then tablets, digital and web cameras, etc. All the cameras can, all these things and different devices can be connected to the USB port. So this is how your USB port looks like. You are already familiar with the USB ports. Okay, the next type of port is the PS/2 port or PS2. We call it PS2 port. Nowadays it is very hard to find PS2 ports. Okay, they are rarely used. So this is how PS2 ports looks like. Okay, PS2 connector or the PS2 port was developed by IBM in the year 1987, way long ago. Okay, now PS2 port is not considered as a legacy port as it has been replaced by USB port. So nowadays PS2 ports are not used. Which ports are used? USB ports are used. But still we need to know about it. Okay, so it was used for attaching what? Keyboard and mouse to the computer. See, there are two ports given on this computer. This PS2 port is used to connect what? The keyboard, and this one is used for the mouse. Okay, these symbols were made. Okay, so these are the PS2 ports. These are not you cannot see normally. If you purchase a new computer nowadays, you will not see these ports. Okay, there's no use of these ports. Why? Because these ports have been replaced by the USB port. The next type of port is called as the firewire port. Okay, which is also known as IEEE 1394. Okay, IEEE 1394 port. This port's name is the second name of firewire port is IEEE 1394. Okay, now this firewire port was developed by Apple Inc. So you know Apple Inc. which develops MacBooks and all that. Okay, so that company developed this firewire port in the year 1994. And why did Apple develop this port? So that it can transfer large amount of data with the speed of 800 megabytes per second. That means these firewire ports, they were so fast in transmitting data that they were able to transmit 800 megabytes per second. Okay, and they were able to connect 63 different types of devices. Okay, so firewire port were acting just like the USB port, but they were very fast and they were able to transfer large amount of data with very high speed. Okay, what is the usage? The usage was to connect camcorders and video equipment to the computer. Okay, so what used to happen is that when you record a video on huge big cameras, okay, what happens, the memory size of those video recordings, or the video file that is made, is very large. So in order to transfer those video files from your camera to your computer, it used to take lot of time. That's why firewire port was developed. So this is firewire port. Who developed firewire port? Apple Inc. in the year 1994. Firewire ports were able to transfer 800 megabytes per second of data. Okay, now the next type of port is the VGA port. What is the full form of VGA? Full form of VGA is video graphics array. What is the full form of VGA? Video graphics array. Okay, now VGA port is similar to serial port. Can you see this? It is almost serial to the sorry it is almost serial to similar to the serial port. Now you studied the serial port earlier, right? Okay, but serial port has pins. If you see, look at the serial port diagram, see, this has pins. These are the pins. Okay, there are 9 pins over here. On the other hand, the VGA port has holes in it. Can you see these holes? These holes in this blue color, this. Okay, now with the increase in use of digital video, VGA ports are gradually being replaced by the HDMI ports. Okay, so which ports are replacing VGA ports? Nowadays, if you purchase new computers, you may not find VGA ports. Yeah, in the old computers, you may find VGA ports. Now, VGA ports were used to connect the projector and all that to your computer. Okay, now you might have seen me in the school. I used to connect my laptop with that smart board. You might have seen that, right? So what I used to do, I used to take out the you know projectors connector, and I used to connect it to my laptop. You might have seen that wire that I used to connect with my laptop, right? That wire I used to put into the VGA port of my computer. Okay, but nowadays my laptop is very old. Nowadays the VGA ports have been replaced by HDMI and different display ports. Okay, now let's talk about the use of VGA port. VGA port is used to connect monitors or projectors to the computer. So I used to connect the projector of that smart board to my computer, with the help of VGA port. Okay, students. Then the next type of port is the HDMI port. Just now we studied that HDMI ports have replaced the VGA ports. So look at this port. This type of port is called as the HDMI. What is the full form of HDMI? High definition multimedia port. What was the full form of VGA? Video graphics array. Okay, what is the full form of HDMI? High definition multimedia port. Okay, now what is high HDMI port? HDMI port is a digital port or digital connector that can carry high definition video, HD videos. HD videos. What is full form of HD? High definition. So it can carry high definition video and audio. Which ports can carry high definition video and audio? HDMI. Okay, VGA ports cannot carry HD video and audio. Okay, it can also send audio to different formats. Okay, then What is the use of VGA? Oh, sorry, HDMI. HDMI is used to connect high definition or HD or ultra high definition UHD devices like computer monitors, high definition TVs, gaming consoles. Gaming consoles are the devices which are used in gaming, like the PlayStation and all that. Okay, high definition cameras, etc., to your computer. All these connect to the HDMI port. Okay, so nowadays if you purchase a computer, you will all computer or laptop, you will get the HDMI port, which looks like this. Next, let's move on to the next type of port, which is called as the Ethernet port. Ethernet port. Okay, now an Ethernet port, okay, or the RJ45 connector. So this is the Ethernet port, okay, or this is called as the RJ45 connector. Okay, it looks just like the telephone's RJ11 connector. Now see students, this is the telephone's RJ11 connector, which is small in size, and this is the RJ45 connector. Okay, the difference between RJ45 and RJ11 is that the internet cable goes into the RJ45 connector and your telephone cable goes into the RJ11 connector. RJ11 connector is small. You might, if you go to your telephone, your telephone, then you might see that the wire that is coming from the telephone pole, it is getting inserted into your telephone into the RJ11 connector, which is very tiny, and the RJ45 connector is a bit bigger than the RJ11 connector. What is the usage of this this Ethernet port? The use of Ethernet port is to connect your computer to the wired network, or to connect your computer to a internet. Okay, the broadband connection that you get, to connect your computer to it, the broadband cable goes inside the Ethernet port. So this is your Ethernet port, which is also called as RJ45 connector. Okay, then the next type of ports are called as the audio ports. Audio ports. Okay, there are three types of audio port that we need to study: line in, line out, and the mic port. Okay, so what is line in? The line in enables a user to connect an external audio device to a computer. Okay, if you want to connect an external audio device to your computer, you will connect it to the line in. Okay, then next is line out. It allows external speakers, headphones, or other output devices to be connected to the computer. Okay, and the third type of audio port is the mic port. Okay, it helps in plugging the microphone to the computer. Okay, microphone is a device which is used to record your voice into the computer. Right now I am recording my voice into the computer, so I am using a mic, okay, which is connected to the mic port of my computer. Okay, so these are the three types of ports that are available. See, this is the line in, okay, through which we can send audio into the PC. Okay, then this is the line out one. Okay, from here the sound will come out, okay, through the headphone or the speakers, and this is the microphone, see, through which we can connect a mic to our computer. So these were the different ports that are present on our computer. So with this we come to an end to this lecture. In the next lecture, students, we will talk about the external hardware, because we have finished the internal hardware part. Okay, so in the next lecture we will talk about the external hardware. Okay students, till then take care of yourself and be well.